Hey, what's going on, y'all? Today we're going over an update for my Pimp Magician deck. I really think this deck is straight pimping. It's savage. And I'm going to talk a little bit after we're done about how this deck really does have potential to be the best, and how it also was the best before Spiral came to be with Double Helix. And that's a funny thing. It actually was. It's been dominating in the meta. It's been savage. It's been that deck. It really has. I feel like me, Yugioh, Innovation Yugioh, Simo, and also a very, very small YouTuber, I forgot his name, but all of us are on the same page with Pendulum Magicians. We all understand. I think Cali Effect has said a few things about this deck as well, but pretty much, and we're all sponsored by MetaMats. That's the only reason why I mentioned us, because we're all on the same squad. We all, talk to each other and stuff and share ideas. But we all are on the same page about Pendulum Magicians, how they really are like that deck. They're really savage. They have so much potential. It's amazing. The deck is so flexible and it does a lot. It does a whole lot. Like, wow. We're gonna hop right into my deck profile, and I just want to let you know before we start that I'm showcasing this deck in its purest form without hand traps, and then I'll do another deck profile with hand traps if you would like to see them. Granted, the deck can't really afford to play too many, and that's why I was like, let's just stick to it in its purest form. So we're gonna start off with 3 Joker. Joker is just amazing. He really does matter. Like, the 3 helps. Joker starts a lot of combos. And going second against problematic monsters, like let's say Trick Stars have like a field spell and a monster. You just normal him, search Purple Poison, play it in the skill, attack over the monster, Purple Poison pops the field spell, and he hits it for 3,000 and stuff like that. It helps you to get over a lot of stuff. So Joker is a 1-card combo going second. Obviously, Wisdom Eye is Wisdom Eye. He's not hard once per turn. He triggers your graph. He loads your extra deck. He gets you straight to your Oath Dragon. He's any scale you need. The problem with this deck is it has too many high scales and not enough low scales, but just enough low scales for it to function. And Wisdom Eye fixes that problem because he's any scale. Then we also have 3 copies of Harmonizing Magician. Oh yeah, something else that's relevant that people don't even pay attention to is his monster effect. Because when you Pendulum summon him to the field, you can use his monster effect, which says you can discard, I'm sorry, not to the field, but his monster effect, like, period. I'm not saying when you Pendulum summon, you can use it. But you could discard him and target 1 card in your Pendulum zone whose current scale is different from its original scale, and its Pendulum scale becomes its original scale. The reason why that may be relevant coming up soon is because a lot of Pendulum Magician players are going to start playing the Supreme King. If you know about them, Dark Worm and Gate and the other one, and they increase their scales, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it's a 0 scale and a 13 scale, and their scales become irregular. So it might be to a point where you can't Pendulum summon a right level. So Wisdom Eye might be even more relevant, just changing the scale of the Supreme King Gate monsters, and it's a discard. So I'm sorry if I confused you for a second, but that's besides the point. It's just food for thought. Obviously 3 Harmonizing. She's the best magician in my opinion, minus the Wisdom Eye. She's just really good. She's the reason why we are still able to function under Master Rule 4. And then we also have 3 copies of Double Iris. Double Iris is really amazing. The deck is more or less catered to trying to resolve this card going first, trying to pop him as quick as possible to get that trap and make our opponent deal with it. And then we have 3 copies of Purple Poison Magician. The basically baby dried it. He outs a lot of problems, and his damage step effect is relevant because you can put him on Astrograph. You can double Iris your Astrograph, make him do double damage, and then you can Black Fang a monster like 2 or 3 times, and then you can double Iris again, make him do double damage, and then Purple Poison and damage step, and OTK with the 1 Astrograph attacking just 1 monster. This deck has, like I said, a lot of potential. We also are playing 3 copies of Black Fang because we just need to see names. We need to see scales as quick as possible. More or less, this entire deck is just, I think 70% monsters. Black Fang, Double Iris, and Purple Poison have an OTK in their self just by targeting a Dark Spellcaster. The best target is obviously going to be Astrograph Sorcerer, which we're playing at 2. Right now, with Electrum being announced but not being out, I haven't made my deck cater to summoning Electrum first turn without wasting my Pendulum summon. But when we do, I'm probably just going to toss in like 3 Curtain Raisers. I'm not really trying to do the whole Supreme King thing. It's cool, and it does have synergy with the extra deck monsters that they already have, which are this, the Synchro, and then the XYZ. Yeah, they do have synergy. But I don't want to take the deck away from what it's really supposed to be. In its core, it's a Pendulum Magician deck. And I just like seeing Magician scales more. So we're going to be more or less using cards like Astrograph Sorcerer, Skullcrobat Joker, and Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser to get our Electrum on the field without Pendulum summoning. So yeah, this card has a lot of amazing interactions on your turn or your opponent's turn. And the mirror match, this card dictates a lot. People are really sleeping on the card. I'm considering bumping it to 3. I played 3 in the past. My first ever Pendulum Magician deck profile played 3 of him. He's amazing. The Wisdom Eye combos, him with your graphs. Oh my, like dude, him with the Sorcerer. Obviously, he's just a really powerful card. Like I said, even in the mirror match, because obviously you're going to be hitting their cards that are the same exact names of this, and you can just bring this guy out in battle phase after you've ran one over, and then search a copy of that monster that you just killed that belonged to your opponent to begin with. 2 copies of Oath. Oath is the endless resource. It's the closest thing this deck has to the Spiral Rescue mission. It's just not as powerful because you can't add on your opponent's turn, then on yours, but he is the endless resource. As long as you can keep him on board, you can just continue regenerating yourself. And then the 1-ofs are 1 Sorcerer and also 1 White Wing and 1 Shadow Dragon. Just some spicy tech. Shadow Dragon's really nice. He kind of explains itself, but if you're wondering how you even resolve Shadow Dragon or how he works in the deck, I'll let you know. But yeah, these are the 1-ups. I feel like after you resolve the first Sorcerer, A, you run out of targets, you run out of jokers really fast, and also B, it's not really a good card to draw mid to late game. He doesn't really do much for you, but he's definitely a great first turn, you know, combo. I don't see the need for playing more than 1 Sorcerer, but every person has a different play style. Every person has different, you know, different ideas with what they're trying to do with the deck. And some people are like, I like resolving Sorcerer on my purple poison mid to late game to just force it through, stuff like that. The spells are as follows. 3 copies of Wavering Eyes. Wavering Eyes is going to be a lot better because mirror matches are going to be a lot more prevalent, believe it or not. So just keep in mind, you don't want to resolve this going first anymore. You don't want to Wavering Eyes your own scales, take a -1, and then go for your Astrograph combo. Sometimes you might have to force it through to make your Electrum, because if you resolve Electrum first, you can kind of say that you're winning more than your opponent is. But even so, even if your opponent can get Electrum, if you can Wavering Eyes them, they're like, you put them so far behind because you also search out another copy of Wavering Eyes, which you can hit them with Wavering Eyes again, and they're like done. Like their scales are just, they're destroyed. So this is also something that could be very scary if a lot of people are playing Pendulum Magicians, because whoever gets to this card first can more or less just win the duel. And no matter how good of a player you are, if an idiot Wavering Eyes you, it could be over. So Wavering Eyes is definitely an amazing card. We have also 3 copies of Duelist Alliance, and a lot of people forget about the number 3 part, which is just banish your card on the field. So Wavering Eyes is pretty dope. So 3 Duelist Alliance. Obviously, I'm playing 3 because I want to see the card that bad. I don't care if it's a hard one to return. It gets me straight to my Grass, to my Double Iris, to my Sorcerer if I need so. 2 copies of Pendulum Call because 1 is never enough. I was actually playing the card at 3. If I decide to play Gammas, I feel like this would be a great Ash bait to force your Gamma through. So we never know. This might go up to 3 again. I like the card personally. A lot of people don't, but every man's entitled to his opinion, and also every man can play his deck the way he wants to play it. And since this is my deck, it's how I'm playing it. 2 copies of Pot of Desires. 3 is too excessive, even though Duelist Alliance is a hard one per turn. Obviously, you're not banishing 10 cards from your deck to resolve this, so it's fine. With Desires, you can't afford to resolve more than 1. The deck is just, no, you can't do it. 2 copies of Star Pendulum Graph. This is just your, this and Oath Dragon are your never-ending resources, your endless resource. And obviously, the best cards in the deck are the graphs. I maximize on time because I feel like in the mirror match, which, like I said, is going to be more prevalent, whoever gets this card first is winning, but they're not going to win. You never know, but they're winning simply because of this fact. If I have my Time Pendulum Graph first, once I flip it for 1, now you can't Time Pendulum Graph any of my Pendulum Magicians because they're protected. They can't be targeted by traps. And also for 2, I'm immediately already picking your cards off of your board. And the second you get to yours, because I have mine first, when you flip yours and finally activate it, which, you know, a lot of people play 2 of this, and I'm playing 3 because I want to hard draw it. When they flip theirs and already have mine, because I got mine first, right? They can't target any of my monsters with it, so they have to hit this. This is the only card they can hit. And the problem is, mine is already face up, so the second you try to activate yours targeting mine, I'm just going to chain mine and just destroy yours anyway. So whoever gets theirs up first, it enables them to protect theirs better, if it makes sense. And these are the partial dictating factors in the mirror match, or who can Wavering Eyes first, and also who can maintain their graphs, because these are the endless resources that you have at your disposal. So the Time Pendulum Graph and the Star Pendulum Graph, keeping these on board is very crucial. It's not as Mando, because it just basically lets you replace some of the cards you lost, but this is definitely Mando so that they can't use theirs on you, and also so that no matter what, they can never get theirs active. They can't, because you can always snipe theirs first. So that's why I feel like playing 3 is important. And also, another thing was I'm always trying to resolve double Iris going first. And I hated that if I couldn't resolve it, I couldn't get to this card. And I was like, you know what? I want to hard draw this. I don't care if it's a hard once per turn. There are games when the first one somehow got hit with like a Cyclone and it got banished, and I flipped the second one. And it's still like GG no re. It's a really, really good trap. Since it's the only trap the deck really needs to play, I feel like maximizing 3. And that's just me. It's a 40 card deck. We're going to hop right into the extra deck now. Zark, because I can make it. You can make it turn 2 if you open up with Time Star. You can make this card. Time Star is going to Foolish twice for you. You just need your graph. So you basically use Time Star Chain, and the graph pops their card and send another one of theirs from the field to grave. You send 2 Magician names, and he searches the other 2. First turn, you search 1, and then second turn, you search the Astrograph, and you just Pendulum summon the 4th name you need. Astrograph goes off. It's really, really cool. Time Star lets you make Zark second turn. I've done it. And continuing on with the fusions, we're just playing another one. Just to Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom. This card is just amazing. I can sit here and tell you a bunch of stories about how good this card's been to me, but he's amazing. Synchros are as follows. Double Omega, might be a triple if we start playing Gamma. Ignister, this card is amazing. He's just, he's a one-sided Raigeki. If he battles a monster at the start of the damage step, he immediately destroys it, Construct, and then he burns for its original attack. So if the monster can be destroyed, he can basically be game by himself. He's a really, really, really powerful monster. Enlightenment Paladin, because he's a dark spellcaster, you can do the double Iris, Black Fang, Purple Poison combo on him, and it's going to be more or less a potential guaranteed OTK, because when he destroys the monster by battle, he burns for its original attack. Or is it just attack? No, it's original attack, and of course he adds back your spells like your Pendulum Call, your Graph, your Duelist Alliance. When you side deck Dark Hole, Raigeki, stuff like that, he'll add those back. So he's a really, really insane card. And something cool that Pendulum Magicians do, they have access to extra deck staples that no other deck right now in the format can make, which is going to be these 3 and these 5, these 6, 7, 8 cards that no other deck can make outside of just Pendulum Magicians themselves. So they also have these outs that are so powerful that no other deck has access to. They have Beneficial Accrutements up the A. You know, I don't cuss, but up the crack. Time Star Magician, he's a card that I feel like I should be playing at 2 because I really like him and his effect is amazing. Resolving him, protecting your cards. I like to have him in Graph sometimes in the mirror match because he makes sure that the Graph clears 2 cards, which means pop a scale, send a scale from the field to the grave. So he's really, really amazing. He also searches out the Astrograph. He searches out, if you want to play Summoner Monk, you can search out the Monk. It's just, he's really, really good. I want to play 2 so bad. I'm still like thinking, because I need to make room for Electrum. I want to play 2 Electrums in my extra deck. Then, of course, Trapeze. Because Trickstars burn each time, it's basically like this: 200, 400, 600, or with the field spell, 400, 800. And you never take damage if it's 25 or less. And it's not simultaneous, so they can never ever burn you unless they literally burn you for 3,000 at once. And it's in each time, it's an ignition, so it stacks. It's like 400, okay. Then you draw again, 800. You know, and it's little by little. So let's say they reincarnation you and, you know, you're like, you have 6 cards in hand. Then it's like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. But it's each time. It's not at once. It's not simultaneously. So they can never ever burn you, basically, long story short. He's a really, really interesting tech card because he also lets you OTK. He targets any monster. You can do Astrograph Sorcerer, attack twice for 25. You know, do the Purple Poison kind of stuff, the double Iris. A lot of OTK potential with this deck. If it goes first and sets up Rice, it'll kill you next turn. And then the Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion. I just chose him because I didn't have space for Utopia the Lightning. And this is the closest thing I could get to. They can still activate things, but once you go into damage step, obviously you're limited to what you can use anyways. Tornado Dragon and Baguska. The rank 4s you always want to end your combo on. It just depends what matchup. Obviously, if I'm playing like Spirals, I want to Baguska them. If I'm playing Trickstars, I can afford to go Tornado Dragon and the Graph Trap because I'm going to snipe the field spell. Then when they set the reincarnation, I'm going to snipe it with this or my Graph. So it just depends, but you have the option. Normally, Baguska's the way to go after you Omega them. Abyss Dweller, just in case you have like a Dino matchup or just, you know, awkward stuff. You never know. It comes up. Even the True Draco matchup might not be relevant now, but it could be in the future. Just 2 links, Decode and also Akashic. Akashic is a dark spellcaster, which comes up. You can actually just Black Fang after you've summoned her and summon her back. And if you're playing Firewalls or Link 4s, she makes it easier to go into those because she's a Link 2 that you can recur off of Black Fang. You can only Link summon her once per turn, but you can special summon her as many times as you want. that's going to sum up the deck profile. And obviously, I already shared my thoughts on what I think of this deck. It's really, really, really savage. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing with the Time Star and the Shadow Dragon. It's basically like this. It's really simple. When you open up with Time Star and Graph, you just flip the graph. You know, let's say this is a scale, right? You would use the graph to pop a scale. Then you chain Time Star instead. And what you're going to send, he sends any spellcaster. So you're just going to send Shadow Dragon. And he doesn't send for cost. He sends by an effect. So you're going to send Dragon from your deck to your grave. And then this is going to be able to destroy a card and send a card on the field to the graveyard. And then on a separate chain link, Shadow Dragon will blow up, you know, a back row. So you clear 3 cards with this one trap and him. And it's amazing. So that's what Dragon's here for. Outside of that, he's a dark level 4 spellcaster. You can overlay him. You can set him, flip him, use effect to bounce. He's really, really good. He's just a spicy tech. He may come out when we have to make room for Abyss Actor, Curtain Raiser, and hand traps. But yep, that concludes the deck profile. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. And I'm going to be announcing the winner of the MetaMat. I already did the raffle. I'm just going to announce the winner for you guys that were curious about that. But yep, you'll be hearing from me soon. Peace.